All right, so let's talk about the fraud known as Christine Blasey Ford for the 14th time. Got a Zero Hedge article, and I got a theconservativetreehouse.com article. Before we get started, I want you to think about something. The lady that was brought in when she was giving her testimony, you ever coached anybody on a lie detector test? No, I have not. Have you ever done? No, I have not. What would make that lady ask her that question? Have you ever coached somebody? Unless they knew she coached somebody. And the lady who gave her that questioning didn't come up with that on her own. She was fed a couple of questions, perhaps by the federal somebody or another, as like a takedown, like a criminal takedown. You're going to be an informant, that kind of a thing. Not an informant, but we're going to bait them and catch them. And she swore she perjured herself numerous times. I think they knew the answers. They knew exactly what Christine Ford and these Democrats were going to do. Like Q said, they have it all. They probably know who was talking to who was where, when this and that. As you're going to find out during her testimony, she said, "Oh, I was in such and such when that happened. I flew there the other day." And you're going to find out that the former FBI person who no longer with the FBI quit in 2016 when Trump won, was the one who administered the test. You're going to see all these connections. I think the good guys knew all of this. Have everything. Like Trump, like Q says, we have it all. These people are stupid. So they set her up. I think they set her up. Raise your right hand. Have you ever coached anybody on a lie detector? No, I have not. Meanwhile, go fund me. This go fund me thing. I'm not really sure what that is. What that means. Go fund me. Oh, yeah. She kind of sounds like the lady on Happy Gilmore. My fingers hurt. What's that? My fingers hurt. Oh, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscape duty. Anyone else's fingers hurt? No. Oh, I got $1 million in my GoFundMe account. What's that? I've got $1 million in my GoFundMe account. I don't know what that is. Oh, well, now you're not going to get to spend it because you're going to get indicted. You too. So the hashtag #MeToo movement is going to now become the hashtag #YouToo. Who else is getting indicted? Hashtag #YouToo. You heard it here first. Jason at 4. Hashtag #YouToo. Indicted. Let's get on with this. Start with the Zero Hedge one. Blasey Ford's Kavanaugh testimony unravels after ex-boyfriend refutes her key claims. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican, Iowa, fired off an intriguing letter to Christine Blasey Ford's attorneys on Tuesday, requesting several pieces of evidence related to her testimony, including all materials from the polygraph test she took after her ex-boyfriend of 6 years refuted statements she made under oath last week. Grassley writes, the full details of Dr. Ford's polygraph are particularly important because the Senate Judiciary Committee has received a sworn statement from a longtime boyfriend of Dr. Ford's, stating that he personally witnessed Dr. Ford coaching a friend on polygraph examinations. Hold on. What was the question? Raise your right hand. Have you ever coached anyone? No, I have not. Never. Thank you. Smiling. Oh. Again, you don't think they already had the boyfriend's testimony? The good guys? I'm telling you, they are setting up these clown leftists for the most unbelievable defeat of their lives this November. This is going to be more exciting than a movie you're dying to go and see. Like I was dying to see the recent Predator movie. I went and saw it. It was pretty good. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good though. I liked it. So I was wondering when she was asking these questions, why is she asking? That's an odd question to just ask out like that. Why would her coaching someone have to do with herself taking a lie detector? Like, why is the lady asking her that? And she asked a few other interesting questions too. This statement raises specific concerns about the reliability of her polygraph examination results, which we've, of course, heard. They never even asked her about Kavanaugh in the lie detector questioning. Do you feel that what you wrote in your statement's true? Yes, I do. Oh, yeah, it shows that she's correct. But what was the statement she wrote? Did she write that Kavanaugh did this or some boys did this? Oh, she wrote that some boys did this to her. Not specific, no. See, mainstream media isn't going to tell you that. So Charles C.W. Koch says on Twitter, whatever the polygraph testimony is about, it seems perfectly obvious that Grassley is right, that the notes must be shared. It is wholly unjust for Ford to use them as evidence, but refuse to share them with the people who are expected to accept their use as evidence. Correct. Ford's ex-boyfriend also claims that she never told him about any type of sexual assault in almost a decade of knowing her, of which they were romantically involved for 6 years. Says, during our time dating, Dr. Ford never brought up anything regarding her experience as a victim of sexual assault, harassment, or misconduct. Dr. Ford never mentioned Brett Kavanaugh, the ex writes, adding, while visiting Ford in Hawaii, we traveled around the Hawaiian Islands, including one time on a propeller plane. Dr. Ford never indicated a fear of flying. Ford's ex goes on to note Dr. Ford never expressed fear of close quarters, tight spaces, or places with only one exit. Further refuting her testimony, she ended up living in a very small 500 square foot house with one door. Well, one door? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. The second door story has separately come under scrutiny in recent days, as some have suggested the second door she installed due to claustrophobia, as well as anxiety, phobia, and PTSD-like symptoms. That's a Saul Rosenberg. This is a fake Jerky Boys prank phone call that we watched, apparently. I have a phobia that my shadow's going to choke me. Like, you remember the old Jerky Boys phone call? A phobia. Oh, do you? I have a phobia of effing liar criminals like you, Miss Christine Ford. That said, Real Clear Politics, Thomas Lipscomb notes that the door may have actually been installed to accommodate a renter at her house. Or, as I said, the Google interns that she said under oath, come and stay with them. I think we may find out Jason Ford nailed that one. Since 1993 and through some listings even today, there was another tenant at what is now the Ford property. It is listed as this person's residence from 93 till July 2007, a week or so after she sold the house to the Fords. Her name is Dr. Sylvia Randall, and she listed this address as for her California license practice of psychotherapy, including couples psychotherapy, until her move to Oregon in 2007. Currently, she only practices in that state, where she also pursues her new career as a talented artist as well. But many existing directories still have Dr. Randall's address listed at what is now the Ford residence. Randall was evasive when Lipscomb called her, refusing to answer whether she sold the house to the Fords or was a therapist to the Fords. Perhaps the FBI needs to interview Randall before they conclude their speedy investigation. So that's one thing, okay? That's one thing. Then we have the conservativetreehouse.com. The last refuge as at the top. Christine Blasey Ford, friend in Delaware, was career FBI agent and likely together during accusation letter construct. In a letter released last night, this was posted today, so, today's Wednesday, by the way, so Tuesday, from a former boyfriend, there was a name, curiously not redacted, the name of Monica L. McLean, was revealed as a lifelong friend who Miss Ford helped with polygraph preparation. The media has begun to focus on the letter as outlining a lie told by Miss Ford during recent congressional testimony. But the backstory to Miss Monica Lee McLean is an even bigger story. First, the letter. I first met Christine Blasey, now Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, in 1989 or 1990 in California. From 90 to 91, I just was friends with Ford. From approximately 92 to 98, I was in a relationship with Dr. Ford. I found her truthful and maintained no animus towards her. What kind of relationship were you in with this lady? During our time dating, okay? Now so this is the boyfriend. This is the boyfriend speaking. Dr. Ford never brought up anything about her experience as a victim of sexual assault, harassment, or misconduct. Dr. Ford never mentioned Brett Kavanaugh. During some of the time we were dating, Dr. Ford lived with Monica L. McLean, who I understood to be her lifelong best friend. During that time, it was my understanding that McLean was interviewing for jobs with the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office. I witnessed Dr. Ford help McLean prepare for a potential polygraph exam. Dr. Ford explained in detail what to expect, how polygraphs worked, and helped McLean become familiar and less nervous about the exam. Dr. Ford was able to help because of her background in psychology. Dr. Ford and I lived together, which I think I already read you most of that. So, anyways, in addition to the boyfriend noting Miss Monica L. McLean in the current letter, Miss Monica Lee McLean was also one of the signatories of another letter from the Holton Arms class of 1984, bolstering the credibility of Miss Blasey Ford. We, the letter states, we of the Holton Arms class of 84 are writing on behalf of our friend and classmate, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, to attest to her honesty, integrity, and intelligence, and to contend that her decision to provide information pertaining to sexual assault is not a partisan act. It is an act of civic duty, and the experience she described in her letter needs to be seriously considered. We represent all political parties, and we support Christine bringing this matter forward. Anyways, there's a little more to the letter, but she signs off as one of the people. Some research into Miss Ford's lifelong friend from school, Miss Monica Lee McLean, reveals an almost guaranteed likelihood the polygraph assistants had something to do with the career path Miss McLean would take. Monica Lee McLean was admitted to the California bar in 1992, the same year Miss Ford's boyfriend stated he began a 6-year relationship with her best friend. The address for the current inactive California law license is now listed, different name, whatever, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Okay, note, remember this. It becomes more relevant later. According to her LinkedIn background, Miss Monica there was a 24-year employee of the Department of Justice and FBI from 92 to 2016. According to public records, Miss McLean worked in both Los Angeles, California, and New York, New York. In a 2000 Los Angeles FBI declaration, Miss McLean describes herself as a special agent of the FBI, Associate Division Counsel, in the Los Angeles Division Legal Unit. And they put up a copy of that scanned document. Sometime between 2000 and 2003, Miss Monica L. McLean transferred to the Southern District of New York, FBI New York Field Office, where she shows up on various reports, including media reports, as a spokesperson for the FBI. There was a family death in 2003, and Monica then shows up with an address listed in Washington, D.C. in 2003. So it would appear Miss McLean spent about 10 years in California and then returned to the East Coast. According to Monica, the spokeswoman for the FBI's New York office. After 2003, Monica is working with the SDNY as a public information officer for the FBI New York field office, side by side with the SDNY Attorney General. Guess who? Preet Bharara. Remember him? I'm not going to step down. Trump's going to have to fire me. Oh, he'll fire you. Get out of here. He's gone. That same Pete. And here's another document they put up that shows her name on there from that office. Preet Bharara, the United States Attorney for the Southern District, whatever, and her name's on there too. According to the LinkedIn profile, Miss McLean retired from the FBI in 2016 after 24 years of work. It should be noted that Miss McLean's PIO partner in New York, Jim Margolin, is still currently employed there and coincidentally attached to the case against President Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen. It does not appear that Miss Monica L. McLean ever married. On the East Coast, her historic address are current, and that's that one in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and her former one places. Let's see, scroll down. In an April 2016 article in the Delaware Cape Gazette, Miss McLean shows up at a wine tasting event and is pictured within the publication, which is on the website. I'm not going to post any links or any pictures here. Miss McLean is pictured above with the large peak handbag. This article confirms the location of Monica in relationship to the numerous public record citations of her Delaware residence. Here's where things get really interesting. Miss Monica Lee McLean and Miss Christine Blasey Ford are lifelong friends. Obviously, they have known each other since their high school days at Holden Arms, and both lived together as roommates in California after college. Their close friendship is cited by Miss Ford's former boyfriend of 6 years. Miss Monica McLean retired from the FBI in 2016, apparently right after the presidential election. You know, because Donald Trump made it. Her current residence is listed in that same city, Rehoboth Beach, whatever, which aligns with public records and the serendipitous printed article. Now, where did Miss Blasey Ford testify? She was located at the time she wrote the letter to Dianne Feinstein accusing Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Transcript. Michelle. The second is the letter that you wrote to Senator Feinstein, dated July 30th of this year. Did you write that letter yourself? Ford replies, I did. Michelle asks, and since it's dated July 30th, did you write it on that date? Ford says, I believe so. It sounds right. I was in Rehoboth, Delaware at the time. That's on record, friends. That's on record. I could look into my calendar and try to figure that out. It seemed, the other lady says, was it written on or about that date? Ford says, yes. I traveled, I think, the 26th of July to Rehoboth, Delaware. So that makes sense because I wrote it from there. Mitchell says, is the letter accurate? Ford says, I'll take a minute to read it. And then she says, yes, basically. Again, this lady was asking her specific questions that really had nothing to do with what they were there for. Like, you didn't need those questions asked. Unless you knew she's going to commit perjury, we're going to nail her. We are going to nail this lady to the wall. So we have Dr. Blasey Ford in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. On 26th of July, 2018, we've got her lifelong BFF, Monica, who worked as an attorney in POI at the DOJ FBI in Rehoboth Beach. Apparently at the same time she wrote the letter to Senator Dianne Feinstein. Miss Blasey Ford and Miss McLean, the BFF she coached on lie detector testing, together for the 4 days leading up to the actual writing of the letter, July 26th and July 30th. It would appear that Miss Blasey Ford was with Miss Monica, the retired FBI agent and former New York field office spokesperson, at the time she wrote the letter to Senator Feinstein. Now, I was thinking, though, in the beginning, that was the lady who administered the test to her friend. Maybe that wasn't it. It would appear that Miss Blasey Ford was with her. Again, that would certainly begin to explain quite a bit about who exactly was handling Miss Ford and how there would be an intentional effort from a subject matter expert on how to best position the attack against Brett Kavanaugh. Who better to help scrub the internet history and know what processes and people to enlist in such preparatory work than a retired lawyer who worked deeply inside the FBI? Not only did Miss McLean possess a particular set of skills to assist Miss Ford, but Miss McLean would also have a network of DOJ and FBI resources to assist in the endeavor. A former friendly FBI agent to do the polygraph. So that's the other part I was talking about. A former friendly FBI agent to do the polygraph. A network of politically motivated allies. Does the appearance of FBI insider and deputy FBI director to Andrew McCabe, Michael Bromwich, begin to make more sense now? Do the loud and overwhelming requests by political allies for FBI intervention take on a different meaning or make more sense now? Standing back and taking a look at the big picture, could it be that Miss McLean and her team of ideological compatriots within the DOJ and FBI who have massive axes to grind against the current Trump administration are behind this entire endeavor? Well, they're the same ones who were behind the fake dossier, Russia dossier. Considering all the embattled, angry institutional officials, former and current, and considering the recently fired DOJ and FBI officials, and considering the officials currently under investigation, and considering the declassification request, which will likely lead to the exposure of even more corruption, could it be that these elements wanted to do something, anything, to get back at the executive branch and possibly change the tide? Of course. Like I said, they have to. This is our last hope. This is our Hail Mary. We cannot allow Kavanaugh to be in there. We cannot. And this thing has more holes in it than anything I've ever seen, to be honest with you. If so, and I think the likelihood is pretty good, doesn't everything known just easily reconcile if you think of Miss Blasey Ford as a tool for those ideologues? If Miss Monica Lee McLean and her allies wanted to strike, they couldn't be the visible face of the confrontation because she was retired FBI. It would be too obvious. She would need a patsy, a friend who could deploy the hit on her or their behalf. It would need to be someone she could shape, easily manage and guide, etc. Someone who could be trusted and at the same time would be trusting of them. It is quite likely Miss McLean selected/recluded her lifelong best friend, Miss Blasey Ford. And it almost, they've got a picture here that looks like the porn lawyer, Avenatti, whatever, standing next to her also in a different picture. Like a different time frame. Looks similar. So, again, I'll link these articles for my source, for sourcing purposes. And you can go through and look at some of the pictures if you'd like. But I firmly believe this is, the good guys knew about this. They let them bury that. They let them hang themselves. It doesn't get better. It can't get any better than when somebody hangs themselves, so to speak. This is wonderful. I think we're going to have one of the most, possibly the most exciting October any of us have ever had. I'm hoping it all, like, big stuff happens in October. But I know there'll be indictments. I know there are going to be some arrests. Now, White Dove has been saying next year she feels like some big arrests will be made. Utsava was saying it'd be this year. And she was saying it would be summertime, which has pretty much come and gone. However, she was saying it first, that there would be arrests. And I do believe that it will happen. I mean, I'm not going to be the one to give you a time frame, but boy, I'd like to see a lot go down in October. Oh my God, would that be great? And then crypto starts skyrocketing and all this stuff. Like, could you imagine? Take care.